welcome to this first event of Ontracon 2020. This is such an exciting week for us, and what a great way to kick it off with the Ontracon Awards sponsored by our good friends at Cox Business. And I know we all love Ontracon and we look forward to it each year because it's our time to come together and to connect with each other and just really celebrate the businesses. It's our time to learn, to grow, to invest in ourselves, in our team and our community. And I know we're not in person and I miss you. I wish I could be reaching out and hugging all of you like we usually do at Ontracon, but I'm so glad you're here today. I really am, because celebrating and recognizing entrepreneurs and business owners and community leaders, as we're going to do today, is just so important, and really now more than ever because of the special challenges that we've had and been presented with this year. So huge thank you. And we've got, gosh, over 100, I think 125 so far, and the number just keeps going up and up. So that's super exciting. And the fun news is that we're also live streaming today. So if you are joining us via live stream, thank you as well. We've got a great night planned for you. We've got an incredible keynote speaker, Harold Dawson, who I'm so excited is going to be joining us tonight. We had talked about him being a keynote speaker at Ontracon back in, gosh, the first part of the year when we still thought that we were going to be live and downtown Pensacola. But Harold has stuck with us, and we're just so grateful that he is going to be joining us tonight. So as well as our keynote speaker, of course, we've got lots of awards to present. And I want to say a special thank you at this point to our board of directors, who read every submission that we received, really considered them. They voted secretly and independently of each other. So huge thank you to them for helping us. And a very special thank you to Cox Business. Cox Business have been the sponsors of the Ontracon Awards for 5 years now, and it's just an incredible partnership. So we're so thankful to Cox, who are trusted industry leaders in managed cloud technology and really for every industry. So if you are on this call today, please, when we go into the networking, you'll see the lounges roundabout. We've got plenty of our friends and experts from Cox Business. They're going to be in those various different lounges. Go and visit them, chat about what they can do for you and your business and how they can help you. They have just supported our mission so much over the years, and we're so grateful to you all at Cox Business for helping us to improve the quality of life for people. And it's because of them that we're able to bring you these awards today. So with that, it is my great pleasure to call to the stage David Dellerman. David, if you will switch on your camera and your microphone and join me. David is Market Vice President for Cox Communications. He's responsible for Cox's operations in Northwest Florida, from Pensacola and Perdido Key to Sandestin. He oversees the company's local employee base and is an advocate for customers, employees, and Cox in the community. David's very actively involved in several nonprofit boards and is the current chair of Ronald McDonald House Charities. He also serves on the board of Achieve Escambia and the Greater Pensacola Chamber of Commerce. And he is in his 16th year at Cox, where he has a variety of roles in public affairs and operations. And David, thank you so much for joining us today. It's great to see you.
Great to see you as well, Rachel. Thanks so much for the kind introduction. And on behalf of everyone at Cox, welcome to Ontracon 2020. We are super excited about this virtual environment. We know we've got a terrific week ahead. And I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our guest speaker for this afternoon, who I know is going to be just absolutely phenomenal. So I'm glad you guys are all joining us here for this today. Harold Dawson Jr. serves as President and CEO of the Dawson Company. As its visionary and chief transactions strategist, Mr. Dawson's astute knowledge of finance and global market trends were instrumental in the Dawson Company becoming one of the first companies in the U.S. to establish mixed-use transit-oriented as the core focus of its developments. Approaching deals from this perspective led to a paradigm shift in industry standards, which have enabled the company to exceed profit expectations every year since Mr. Dawson assumed the helm back in 2004. As a civic leader, entrepreneur, and respected industry advocate, Mr. Dawson has been featured in numerous local and national publications, including Business Week and the National Real Estate Investor. He's also been recognized as one of Atlanta's 100 most influential Atlantans by the Atlanta Business Chronicle. Please, on behalf of everyone at Cox, help me welcome to the stage our guest speaker, Mr. Harold Dawson.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it, and good evening, everyone. I am speaking to you from Boca Raton, Florida, in my kitchen, and it only is appropriate that I wouldn't be able to see anyone and only looking at myself. But so the way of the world, as we all are experiencing right now. To be brutally honest, when I was asked to speak and to give remarks, I really didn't know why. I'm not really an expert in anything, and didn't really know that I had anything valuable to say. I was told to speak for 20 to 30 minutes this evening, and to just talk about my life story. So as a type A or recovering type A personality, it needs tremendous clarity and structure. Those directions weren't very helpful, but nevertheless, I'm going to give it a shot. Before I start, though, I'm reminded of a story that I read from the late Fred Rogers of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood fame, and when he was in seminary, he was in a homiletics class. So he and his classmates went to see preachers preach. And he had an opportunity to watch a preacher, and he recounted what he thought listening to the preacher. And he said, and he wrote later, that this was the worst preacher and worst sermon that he had ever heard. The person did everything wrong that he had studied. Everything that he was told to do as a preacher, this person did not do. It wasn't structured, it was loose. It was exactly what he knew that he would never do. And he turned his classmate, getting ready to eviscerate the person and critique him. His classmate turned to him, and his classmate was in tears. And before he could say anything, his classmate turned to him and said, "That was the most amazing, moving sermon that I've ever heard in my life." And what that ultimately taught Fred Rogers, that he shared with his audience, was that he came to that really with a completely wrong attitude. And he came in judgment. His classmate came in need. So hopefully at some point during this, someone may hear something that is meaningful to them and touches them and resonates with them. What I'll do is just share some experiences that I've had over the past 18 months as I've gone through some transition in my life. And I'll just hit topics and some quotations I want to share with you and some observations. And so again, I hope some of that and some of this resonates with you. Regarding, and I'll just go through different topics, if you don't mind. Regarding funerals, I believe that they can teach us how we can live our lives. It was 18 months ago that I attended John Mizlek's funeral in Pensacola. So John was a business partner and business associate of mine. And one of the things that really moved me and touched me about his service is that every person that spoke, to a T, spoke about who John was and who he was to them and how he had changed their lives. There wasn't a lot of discussion about what John had done and what he had accomplished and what he had accumulated in his life. It was about the human being. It was about everything that he was, not so much about what he did. During the service, I thought about my father's funeral service in 2012. During that service, it was like a head of state service. There were dignitaries there, and much of it was about what my father had done, and he had done some really historic things. It was impressive, and I was very proud, but it didn't really touch me the way John's service did. And then I also thought about, in 2016, going to my mother's memorial service. And it was very similar to John's. People spoke about what her life had meant to them, how she had impacted them, how she had changed their lives. And the scripture that was used from the New Testament to really describe my mother, and I'll share with you this evening, it still gives me chills. It was Matthew chapter 25, verse 34 through 36 and verse 40. It says, "Then the king will say to those on his right, 'Come, you who are blessed by my Father. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me.' The king will reply, 'Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me.'" And that beautifully described my mother and her beingness versus her doingness. And John's service was very similar. People spoke of John the same way they spoke of my mother. And when I left both of those services, John's last year and my mother's in 2016, I left with a sense really indescribable, a calling, a longing, a yearning for more. Now, regarding reading, as business people, we all read. I assume we look at a constant reading the news. We want to stay up with the markets, what's happening in the world of business, world of politics, current events. We're always constantly reading about how to become better managers, how to become better financiers, in my case, how to become better real estate developers, reading about real estate markets, trying to get any edge that I can in terms of being better at what I do. And I know we all fall into that category. But one of the pivots that I've made recently is adding to my reading collection in my reading list by actually reading books on how to be a better human being. And in fact, I've really shifted more to that under the assumption that if I can learn more about myself and what makes me tick and can actually become a better human being, everything else will kind of fall into place. If I can become a better human being, there's a good chance I can become a better husband and a better father and a better real estate developer and a better business leader. So I've started to read. I've read countless books over the past 18 months, a lot during this pandemic and lockdown. Authors like Bell Hooks and Neil Donald Walsh, Ryan Holiday, Dr. James Doty, Dr. Deepak Chopra, Brene Brown, Professor Ellen Langer, among many. And so I would recommend that. It's powerful to see. We invest so much in our vocations and our careers. I think we should at least invest as much in who we are as being human beings. Regarding accomplishment and accumulation, I found two quotations that I wanted to share with you as I've done a lot of this reading. One is by Senator Marco Rubio. Not many people know that in 2010, he saved his young son's life. His son had fallen in a swimming pool as Marco Rubio was on the phone doing fundraising for his campaign. And he thought he heard a splash. He stayed on the phone, and then his kind of gut told him to to go out. He ended up saving his son's life. He later wrote the following: "I think I understand now that the restlessness that we feel as we make our plans and chase our ambitions is not the effect of their importance to our happiness and our eagerness to attain them. We are restless because deep in our hearts, we know that our happiness is found elsewhere. And our work, no matter how valuable it is to us or to others, cannot take its place. But we hurry on anyway and attend to our business because we need to matter, and we don't always realize that we already do." In his book, Stillness is the Key, author Ryan Holiday touches on a similar subject and says it this way: "Accomplishment, money, fame, respect, piles and piles of them will never make a person feel content. Enough comes from the inside. It comes from stepping off the train, from seeing what you already have and what you already have had." And quotes like this, readings like this have helped me understand a important distinction that I don't think I always did. And it's really regarding two life philosophies that I'll share with you. And it became apparent to me, interestingly enough, in John Meislack's memorial service, and as I reflected on it, even in my mother's memorial service. Two life philosophies. One's about human doing, put another way, making a living, and another is being a human being, put another way, as making a life. I've spent most of my life probably being less of human being and more of human doing. And as I've learned, as I've read, and as I've reflected, human doing is really ephemeral. You know, it's temporary. There's a lot of to-do lists and action items as part of it. And when you think about it, or at least as I reflect on myself, I have to admit that my identity has really become and emanated from what I do, what I accomplish, and what I accumulate. My persona is completely attached to the outcome. And so when that happens, it really boils down to simply winning and losing. And so your self-esteem, your affirmation, your validation, your happiness, and even your self-acceptance, your self-perception is tied to success, and a very narrow definition of success. Success is culture and society tells us what success is. And for people like this, people like myself, failure really becomes unfathomable. Fear of failure becomes debilitating. Criticism is damning. And it's really a fear-based reality where you really live from a standpoint of damage control or optimum advantage. Fear is the energy that's around us, and as you know, other fellow human doings like myself, that fear is energy that clings and clutches and grasps, and it draws in and retreats and runs and hides and hoards and harms and rankles and attacks. It's a lot of desperation. It's exhausting having a scarcity mentality of wins and losses. What you do, what you accomplish, what you accumulate drives who you are. And interestingly, probably learning from John and reflecting on my mom, I'm in the process of making a transition to trying to become a better human being. And what I've learned is that that's really eternal, where validation and affirmation and value really comes from the inside. And the energy it feeds on is love. And that energy is energy that expands. It's energy that it freely gives away. It sends out, it stays, it reveals, it heals, it lets go, it shares, it soothes, and it amends. Finding the stillness that centers you and reflecting on gifts that you've been blessed with, what gives you peace and joy and gratification. Really answering the question of what is at your essence. From a business perspective, what's your personal mission statement when you're driven by love? So people that are really understand about being a human being, or people that really who they are really drives ultimately what they do. In Neil Donald Walsh's book, Conversations with God, he says, we've been taught to live in fear. We've been told about the survival of the fittest and the victory of the strongest and the success of the cleverest. Precious little is said about the glory of the most loving. And so we strive to be the fittest, the strongest, the cleverest in one way or another. And if we see ourselves as less than this in any situation, we fear loss, but we have been told that to be less is to lose. Regarding meditation, John Mossack spoke to me of meditation often, and also of yoga. And when John fell ill in May of last year, I started researching and practicing both. So yesterday evening, my wife Christina and I were doing our evening walk, and she reminded me of my first foray into meditation based on a story that my dad used to tell and told Christina. So apparently, I don't really have recollection of it, but I'll share the story. Apparently, in 1968, at age 4, I went to my interview at Trinity Presbyterian School in Atlanta. It's a private school, pre-K through 7th grade. And this was maybe 2 years after the schools had integrated in Atlanta, Georgia. So the interview consisted of interviews with individual kids at 4, which sounds bizarre, but that happened. But then after that, they put all the kids together in a room and apparently told all of us to do whatever you want. And it was really an opportunity to observe how kids interacted with each other. And so kids obviously scattered and ran to pick up toys and puzzles and dolls and balls and things of that sort. And apparently I laid down in the middle of the floor on my back, put my knees up, and put my hands behind my head, and stared up into the sky for about a half hour. So needless to say, Dad had a lot of fun telling that story, saying that he knew he and my mom were in trouble at that point. But maybe, just maybe, I was onto something when it comes to meditation and stillness and introspection. But whatever stillness and meditative nature I had at age 4, that quickly got exercised out of me over many, many years of doing and competing and achieving and accumulating. And so it took me 51 years before I actually sat down still to kind of go within again. About 400 years ago, there was a French mathematician and philosopher. His name is Blaise Pascal. And he wrote that all men's miseries derive from their inability to sit quiet in a room alone. That's really telling. That continues to be a challenge for many of us. Regarding the science of meditation, I grew up with my dad giving me books, Think and Grow Rich, The Power of Positive Thinking. As I got older, I listened to prosperity gospels. Everything I was told and heard, we are what we think. If you believe it, you can achieve it. None of it really stuck with me. In fact, so much of it seemed really contrived to me. But in his book, Into the Magic Shop, Dr. James Doty, who's a prominent neurosurgeon out at Stanford. He really writes about a science that's called neuroplasticity. And what it really is, it's relatively new over the past couple of decades, but it's the study and the science of the fact that you can create new neural pathways and networks in your brain, essentially new circuitry, through experience and through visualization and through repetition and through intention. Most of those are done via meditation, and it's measurable. It's scientific. It's something that is they can see on scans, and apparently the brain cannot readily distinguish between experience that is intensely, repeatedly imagined and experience that is real. So you'll see and hear about athletes visualizing shooting free throws, visualizing winning the game, throwing the touchdown pass. There's science to that because the brain can't tell the difference. If you do it repeatedly and it's very real and detailed in your imagination. Furthermore, the brain will always choose what is familiar versus what's unfamiliar. So the brain can be trained to regulate physiological responses to stress and anxiety and threat. You can be trained to lower your blood pressure, lower your heart rate, improve focus, memory, and attention. And what I'm learning personally is that it can also be trained to quiet that voice in your head that tells you can't do something, or you should be afraid of this, or this would never work. That self-doubt as well. So this is science. There are metrics. Empirical evidence is measurable, and you can see it. So I've been doing meditation now for about 18 months in honor of my friend John Meislak, and the only thing I could do to describe it is to use the phrase that my dad would always use with me of you can't see the forest for the trees, which is simply you're so down into the weeds that you don't see the big picture. You're so focused on the tactics that you don't really fully understand the strategy. So my experience in business, and it's just a personal experience, but in 18 months of meditating, I can clearly see the forest and the trees simultaneously, which is cool. It's hard to really understand that, but a lot of you in business may. But it adds a lot of clarity to what you're doing. It's been very beneficial for me. Regarding mindfulness, so what I do is I practice mindful meditation. I think John practiced transcendental meditation. Mindful meditation is where during meditation you actively focus on awareness of the mind. And as your mind wanders, you repeatedly refocus it on the current moment, the present moment. And typically you do that by having it focus on your breath. So Ellen Langer, who's a Harvard professor, has studied mindfulness for the past 40 years. She's affectionately known as the mother of mindfulness. And mindfulness is really focused on full awareness, conscious living, beginner's mind, and noticing and observing everything, and doing that outside of meditation, so in everyday life. And it's been applied to business over the past 15 years or so, especially on Wall Street, but also in Silicon Valley. And what they've seen is that it manifests itself in the neuroplasticity that we spoke about, that the neurosurgeons are seeing through meditation. And it results in superior performance, more innovation, more creativity, being less judgmental, increased focus, memory, and increased speed of decision making. So meditation and mindfulness has gone mainstream. It's on Wall Street, it's on Main Street, and it's now in every major organization, and the effects of it are real. You see it in sports, you see it in academics, and obviously in business, and even now in healthcare. But for me, this journey I've been on still is, I've been looking for more from this mindfulness. And so the next subject is regarding the mind and the heart. So in the children's book, The Little Prince, there's a quotation that reads, "Here is my secret. It is very simple. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye." The late American music composer and theorist John Cage wrote, "If the mind is disciplined, the heart turns quickly from fear to love." Doty's book, Into the Magic Shop, explains that our hearts are really our compass, our pole star, our GPS, so to speak. So when we find ourselves lost in crisis, existential or otherwise, it's suggested that we open our hearts. And if we open our hearts, it'll always steer us back in the right direction. And Doty describes this unified intelligence between mind and heart that you can reach through meditation. He says, when our brain changes, we change. But when our heart changes, everything changes. The brain knows a lot, but it knows a lot more when it joins with the heart. When we go inward and our heart is open, we will connect with the heart, and the heart will compel us to go outward and connect with others. There are more neural networks that run from your heart to your brain than from your brain to your heart. So in other words, there are more messages that are going from your heart to your brain than your brain to your heart. Your heart is really a thinking organ. And so working together, mind and heart, the potential is really limitless. Regarding Tina Turner, if you knew John Mizlak, you know and remember that he talked the talk and he walked the walk about love. He told men, women, boys, and girls alike, "I love you." And he meant it from the bottom of his heart. My mother was the same way, and I'm sure many of you know people in your lives, past and present, that are like that. In her book, All About Love, that my daughters suggested that I read over the past several months, bell hooks masterfully draws from the work of the greatest artists, thought leaders, philosophers, theologians, spiritual leaders to unpack this very small word, very powerful word, love. Two examples of the following. Sociologist, psychologist Eric Fromm, and later psychiatrist and author M. Scott Peck described love generally as the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. American monk Thomas Merton, who wrote his phenomenal prayers and essays that I've collected over the years, wrote in his essay titled Love and Need. And this is really powerful. It really describes, I think, what John was about. Love is, in fact, an intensification of life, a completeness, a fullness, a wholeness of life. Life curves upward to a peak of intensity, a high point of value and meaning, at which all its latent creative possibility go into action, and the person transcends himself or herself in encounter, response, and communion with another. It is for this that we came into the world, this communion and self-transcendence. We do not fully become human until we give ourselves to each other in love. In 1984, Tina Turner recorded and released the song What's Love Got to Do with It? If asked that question, I believe John and my mother would have answered everything. All of us have the ability to turn a flicker into a flame with the love that resides in us all. That concludes my remarks. Thank you for listening. And with that, I'll turn things back over to Rachel Gillette.
To take a deep breath, Harold. Wow. Thank you so much for connecting so deeply with us and with our attendees here today. If you look at the chat, you will see how you have really done that in your remarks today, Harold. So we're so grateful to you for your authenticity, for the connection that you've made, for talking about John and what was so important, and the fact that he loved so many people. And of course, it's hard not to get emotional as we do that, because John was such a great human. And I'll take a deep breath as we talk about the award that we're now going to do in honor of John. And I'm going to invite, as I do that, John's wife, Louise, to the stage. We honor John by giving this award to a leader who enriches the lives of others, who builds better organizations, and ultimately helps to create a more just and caring world. That's what our friend and colleague John Meislak was and did in our community. And we honor his memory by recognizing others who live their lives as fully as he did. And the person that Louise and her family have chosen exhibits those characteristics: a passion to continually learn and grow, which John did, an interest in promoting and connecting others in the community and actively working to make it a better place to live, someone who has transformational leadership qualities through their mentoring, commitment to the value of community service, and an optimistic and positive attitude, a humility and authenticity, and above all, love for family and friends. Louise, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I am happy to say I'm John's wife, married for over 20 years. He was a wonderful man. And Harold, I'm so grateful for you to speak about how he made a real impact on you. I want to thank everybody at Ontracon and Cox Cable. I especially want to thank Quint and Rishi Studer, who continue to reach out to the Meislak family with love and continue to honor John. I am immensely grateful. So last year's award went to Peter Mugee, a very notable community activist. This year's recipient is equally impressive. His nomination letter that details all the things that he does was extensive. I almost had to take a break and have a snack. It was so long, mostly on behalf of youth. And my thought was, how in the world can this man run a successful business while doing all of this work for youth in the community? But he does. And I urge all of you, as you're building your businesses, as you're working hard, find a way to make a difference in the community. It's important work, and all of you can do something. It's an important endeavor, and the return on investment is great. Our award recipient this year works hard on a food drive every year, toy drive. He worked in Real Men Wear Pink for breast cancer research. He's currently the president of Guardian Ad Litem, which brings a voice to children in the courts. And that's one of my, that touches my heart very much. He makes a significant impact in this community, and we are so fortunate to have him working with the youth in Pensacola. And he does it with such a quiet grace and humility. He is a very, very fine man, and I'm so happy to award the John Meislak Servant Leadership Award this year to Willie Kirkland Jr.
Thank you, Louise. Willie, can you join us on stage? Are you here with us tonight? Thank you, Willie.
I want to say thank you, Miss Louise. It is a pleasure to see you again, as always. I encourage each and every one of you to go and do your research on John Maslach. He did a whole lot in the community, and he was a true servant leader. And I appreciate servant leaders like him that paved the way for servant leaders as myself. I appreciate the spirit that continues to live on through his family, through his kids and his wife. That spirit continues to live on. I would like to thank Ontracon and Cox Cable. This award will have a special place. It will have a special place where it will be placed at. But the most special place of all, it will be placed in my heart. And I will always forever keep this award near and dear to my heart. I appreciate the community. Without the community, I would not be able to be a servant leader in the community. We have a great community that we live in, and I'm very grateful to be a part of this community. My wife, who is my backbone, she's always by my side, and she's always either by my side, in front, or sometimes in the background. And I appreciate everything that she does on a daily for the business and for the kids in the community. Last but not least, when Willie Kirkland Jr., when his time is up here on earth and he go to be with the Lord, I pray that I continue to do what God allows me to do and wants me to do in this community. And at the end, I would love to hear him say, Willie, you have done a great job and you have been a great servant. I want to thank you for the moment. Miss Louise, thank you so much. Words can't express how much this means to me. I'll have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Willie. You well-deserved award, and we appreciate you joining us tonight, and for those kind words of thanks to Louise and to the family. We appreciate you. So we have kicked off this evening with just a tremendous words of wisdom from our friend Harold Dawson. Thank you so much, Harold, for that. Thank you to Louise and the family, and to Willie. And now we have even more to do, which is just a tremendous honor for me to be able to be here and continue with our awards ceremony presented by Cox Business. So as we do this, I will be announcing the runners-up of each award, and then I will be inviting the winner of the award to the stage. So if you hear your name and you are a winner, please put on your camera and microphone, and I'll briefly invite you to the stage just for a minute to say thank you for your award. We have a number of them to get through, I think 13, and then we'll move on to our Vibrant Community Partners Awards. So we're starting with a special this is Smart Business of the Year, and there are actually joint winners for this award, which is very exciting. Our runner-up in this category is Social Icon Agency. Congratulations to Bree and her team who have brought us this amazing platform. And the winner in this category, or the winners too, we have Randy Ramos, or maybe Aaron Ramos, who's going to be joining us tonight, and Home Instead Senior Care, Stacey Rabello, I think is on the call. So GBSI put together a collaborative learning environment that has really come into its own this year, bringing industry certified experts into the classroom for middle, high school, and post-secondary environments. This year, they transformed over 600 students from traditional classroom learning to virtual, and really helped out schools adjust to the new normal of virtual learning. And Stacey and Kaipo, who have joined me on screen, thank you so much. Home Instead is an organization that cares for seniors who want to stay home. And of course, this year, that has been even more important than ever with what's been going on with COVID. And so they launched a personalized home care tablet into every client's home during COVID-19 for video chats. There's the tablet, creating a reduction in loneliness, and also importantly, decreasing foot traffic into homes to keep everybody safe. So Randy's been able to join us too. Congratulations to you all. And if you want to say a quick thank you, Randy, maybe we'll start with you and then Stacey and Kuiper.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same to you.
How did I get in
Short,
there?
short and sweet by Randy.
Yeah, that's good.
That's okay. Well, congratulations, Randy Ramos and Stacey and Kuiper for Smart Business of the Year.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are very
Next.
excited about bringing technology into the home for seniors. You know, it just really has been a silver lining to some things that have happened this year. So it really is an amazing transition for a lot of seniors in their home to have communication with all their family members.
Very true. Thank you so much, Stacey and Kuiper. And now we'll move on to our Emerging Business of the Year. This award is open to all businesses started within the last 2 years that have either found a niche area to focus on or brought a fantastic new product to market. And maybe they've even overcome the odds to achieve success. The runners-up in this category are Jetty IoT and In Her Physique, Pelvic Floor, Physical Therapy and Wellness. Congratulations to you. And if you'd come to the stage, Sabrina from Something Old Salvage. Sabrina and her husband started and run this business. There they are. I'm so glad you could join us tonight. Something Old Salvage provides the essential services of junk removal as well as cleaning services. They've exceeded their growth projections and become the go-to company in their industry. Revenues up 30% over the last year. Full-time employees have doubled, repeat business is up 40%, and they continue to expand their offerings. And you come to lots of our trainings and are members of our business roundtable. So thank you, Sabrina, and your wonderful husband there. Would you like to say a few words?
We just want to thank everyone for all the support, and we appreciate everything, and we look forward to serving this community for many, many more years. So thank you.
Oh yeah, we appreciate everything that people have done for us to make this business the way it is right now. We appreciate that.
There it is. Well, you guys have worked extremely hard, I know, and it's been wonderful to have you on our roundtables and in our trainings and hear your story as you've grown and just done so well. So well-deserved award. Thank you so much, Tony and Sabrina. Appreciate you.
No problem. Stress with mess, call SOS.
I love it. And now we'll move on to our Micro Business of the Year. This is a business that has fewer than 10 employees. Gosh, micro businesses really are vitally important contributors to the economy. And Micro Business of the Year has been distinguished by recognizing a business that has been able to flourish regardless of the size and being able to continue to grow in perhaps even a niche market. Two very well-deserving runners-up in this category, East Hill Pizza, and again, our friends at Social Icon Agency. Congratulations to you. And if there are winners, Stevenson Klotz, Eric Stevenson, I hope is going to be able to join me on stage. His partner, I think, might still be working, Chris Klotz. Welcome, Eric. In just over 5 years of operation as a local law firm with a total of 9 employees, Stevenson Klotz has served more than 2,200 clients, proving its reach far beyond its size and age. And they were continually able to provide quality services without disruption through COVID-19. Congratulations, Eric.
Hey, thank you all very much. And thank you all to our staff. We have a lot of them in here right now, and we wouldn't be able to, I turned off the camera, do what we've been able to do without a great staff. And we really appreciate winning the award and look forward to continuing to serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, and co-winner in this category. Eric, if you can turn your microphone off, we're getting a slight echo from you. There we go. Co-winner in this category are Robbie and Marie Mott with Track Bicycle Store. As Robbie and Marie Mott can join us. 2020 showed unprecedented growth for bike sales, and our co-winners in this category, Track Bicycle Store, were able to really work to reinvent themselves and take advantage of that, not only to sustain their business, but to have record gross sales of 30% from last year. So if we have Robbie and Marie Mott, can you join me on stage and we'll say congratulations to you. We may not have them here, and that's okay if we don't, but we're grateful to you and congratulations, Robbie and Marie, co-winners in that category with Track Bicycle Store and Stevenson Klutz. So we'll move on to our small business of the year, given to a small business with fewer than 50 employees that's shown resilience and fortitude in overcoming obstacles and difficulties. I feel like, gosh, so many businesses have been in that category this year. The runners-up, Odd Colony Brewing Company and the Wine Bar on Palafox. And the winner this year, a company that really invests in training and development and invests in their employees and invests in employee engagement. Butler Auto Recycling. Summer Kinsley, I think you're here, and maybe Jim Butler. Join me on stage, please, to accept this award. Butler is a company that delivers used auto parts in Pensacola and around the country. We've got the whole team. I have been in that training room and delivered training to the Butler team, who, like I said, really invest in their training and development. They've seen a record year this year in sales and volume by focusing their business model to serve the US through e-commerce sales, which is fantastic. Through COVID-19 and Hurricane Sally were both challenges, they did so well and they have conquered in 2020. Congratulations. I'm not sure we can hear you, Team Butler, but we're so grateful to you for joining us. Thank you so much. We have the whole team there. Unfortunately, we couldn't hear them, but we just so grateful and congratulate you. And now on to medium and large business of the year. This award will be given to a business with 50 or more employees that has similarly shown resilience and fortitude and has ensured growth and success. Two fantastic runners-up in this category, DAG Architects and Levin Rinke Realty. Congratulations to you. And the winner in this category is Ascension Medical Group. And I believe that Justin Labrato and maybe the team are joining us on stage. Since coronavirus pandemic arrived in Escambia County earlier this year, they played an invaluable role in the leading provider of COVID-19 testing in Northwest Florida. They've overcome many challenges combating a new and poorly understood and deadly virus. Testing Center has helped identify individuals who are at risk for spreading the virus and also to help alleviate fears and get sick people into isolation and treatment. And Justin, welcome. If you'd like to say a few words, please go ahead.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm happy to accept this award on behalf of our 1,500 plus amazing associates in Ascension Medical Group Sacred Heart. I believe I have the best team in healthcare. 2020 has been challenging for all of us. My team has been very challenging in the healthcare field. First, our physicians had to learn how to take care of patients virtually, and we saw over 26,000 patient visits that way. Hurricane Sally knocking out the 3 Mile Bridge. We weren't able to take care of our patients in South Santa Rosa County. So we set up a new urgent care in 7 days. But really the biggest accomplishment by my team is related to the COVID-19 drive-through testing that we set up in Escambia and Santa Rosa County. And we only had 3 days to plan for this. And we were the first COVID testing site opened in North Florida. I want to thank our 100 plus people that worked very hard on this, that worked in the testing centers, the screening call centers, the results team or within our lab, which our lab is amazing. They turn around results very quickly. But I wanted to thank 6 leaders who are on here tonight: Kristen, Jenny, Shannon, Jennifer, June. Thank you from Ascension Medical Group Sacred Heart. Appreciate it.
So thank you so very much. That is fantastic. And family-owned business of the year. This is a family-owned business that now includes or has included more than one generation, and whose policies and practices have had a positive impact on the business and the community. And a runner-up in this category is a winner in a previous category, Butler Auto Recycling, and also Eastburn Woodwork. So congratulations to our runners-up. And the winner in this category is the Doghouse Deli and Nathan Holler. And I have been told that Nathan is on vacation with his family. I've been sent a picture. I'm not sure that you'll be able to see this, but let's see if we can. There he is. Look at that. He's in a field with his family, sitting, trying to watch on his computer. So they have spotty internet connection, but they're absolutely delighted to receive the award. They were able to stay open, keep all their employees, and converted quickly to curbside and 50% capacity. Ben is taking a well-earned break, and he says hello from the field with very little internet connection. But we've all dealt with those challenges. But thank you for sending us the photograph, Nathan, and we appreciate you and the Doghouse Deli, winner of Family-Owned Business of the Year. Congratulations. Now we move on to Non-Profit of the Year, a new category. And in fact, it was the most hotly contested category with the most applications of all, because we really do have so many outstanding nonprofits in our community. This is a community of givers, and this award is going to be given to one that has shown their dedication for improving the quality of life for people. No doubt it was a tough choice for our judges, and we have 2 great runners up in this category: Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northwest Florida and Food Raising Friends. Congratulations to you. The winner is the Her Foundation and Nancy Bullock Previtt. If you want to join me on stage. The Her Foundation had a tremendous exhibit here at Studer Community Institute of photographs of female veteran heroes. And if you didn't see it, it was amazing. I'm sure Nancy will tell you where you can find that. But it's a foundation that cares for women veterans who've served our country, and they work to educate the community about the needs of women veterans. They've housed over 21 homeless female veterans, providing over 16,000 meals. They've also given 120 hours of equine assisted therapy, allowing for women to participate in outside activities in a non-judgmental environment to help enhance their physical, cognitive, social, and emotional well-being. And Nancy is with me. Congratulations, Nancy.
Well, thank you, Rachel. From the entire team of the Her Foundation, we just want to say thank you to the community of Northwest Florida, because if it had not been for each and every one of you, we could not do what we do each and every day. Bringing awareness to our women veterans here in our community, and bringing awareness to those who are homeless. You know, as female veterans, you know, we're forgotten about, but with the Her Foundation in our community, we'll always be in this community and in your face, letting you know that women serve too. So remember to honor, empower, and rebuild my sisters in arms. Thank you to everyone for supporting us this year, and thank you for this award.
We appreciate you, Nancy, and all the work that you do to honor our female veterans and heroes. Thank you so much. Now we move on to Minority-Owned Business of the Year. This award recognizes a minority-owned small business that has attained outstanding business achievement in the community. And again, there were so many, and this was a tough choice for our judges. We have the tremendous Gulf Coast Minority Chamber of Commerce as runner-up, along with In Her Physique, Pelvic Floor Physical Therapy and Wellness. Congratulations to both of those organizations as runners-up in this category. And the winner, the outstanding Caress Hudson of Henny Penny's Patisserie. Caress, please join me on stage. Caress has done so much for this community. She is just a champion of small businesses, and in particular minority-owned small businesses. She provides desserts and breakfast items and often does it for free for social justice movements. She's developed a business roundtable program for minority-owned businesses, and she helps them and gives tremendous advice in finding grants and mentors and more. And she's really been a help to us at Student Community Institute and at the Spring as we look to spread what our help and the training and development and services and programs that we have to a much wider community. And we couldn't do it without you, Caress. So congratulations on your success with the business, and thank you for what you do in the community. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. It's such a privilege to receive this. If anything, I just want to say is thank you to the community, and never stop dreaming big. It's always a blessing to do this work. It starts with the heart. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. Whatever's on your heart that the Lord has placed for you to do it, and do it in a mighty way. Thank you so much, and I look forward to 2020 being even bigger and better. Thanks, guys.
So good. Gosh, we're getting such profound words from not only our keynote, but also from our winners this year. So I feel this is a really moving ceremony, even though we're not together. It's tremendous. And the next category that we have is our Female-Owned Business of the Year. This category recognizes a woman-owned small business that has attained outstanding business achievement. Tremendous winners. Runners up in this category, the Marketing Bar and Henny Penny's Patisserie, again a runner up. And in this category, the winner is Titanium Wireless, very well deserved. And Christina Spencer, please join me on stage, who's going to represent this woman-owned business. Christina, Titanium has 25 years experience in communication and tech, and partners with AT&T to provide communication solutions. In 2020, they made the Inc. 500 list for fastest growing company in America, and have repeatedly won awards with AT&T for being a top tier solution provider. Also tripled their workforce during the 2020 pandemic, which is absolutely outstanding. And I have both Chesley and Christina. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. We are so honored to accept this inaugural award for women-owned business. Thank you so much to Studer Group, to Cox for promoting women in business and honoring women in leadership. We couldn't be more thankful to all of you. We want to thank our teammates, who we have a whole bunch on here right now. We see you, we love you. This is emotional for me because this is for my baby sister, and we mostly want to thank her, Jessica Rhodes, our CEO and founder, for disrupting every single day, and we are inspired by you every day. Of course, too, you said that it's an emotional one, and I was fine until then. I was like, oh, it is. But I did right before all that. Anyway, we want to thank every woman out there who's paved the way for women in business, for women in leadership, and women in the world. And keep on disrupting, everybody. Do it.
Yes, second to everything Christina said. Just to second that, a large majority of our entire staff, including Christina, most of our leadership team is all made up of women. It is a major, I know I'm a man sitting here saying this to you all, but What I can say from that point of view is it has taught me an incredible amount about life that I never would have even thought that I needed to learn. And a lot of that goes all the way back to Jessica as well. If you don't know Jessica Rhodes and the team that she builds, clearly her family as well, everything that happens here at Titanium Wireless and that we do in the community comes from a very emotional, passionate place. And we believe that that is the strength of Titanium Wireless, and the emotion that Christina feels is real. And I thank Jessica, I thank Christina and Terry Sullivan, I thank all of our team and all of the Studer Group as well, everyone at Ontracon. We can't thank you enough. And to be awarded the first female-owned business award is something that can't be put into words. So thank you all, and thank you for letting us be here with you.
Well, we appreciate you and your support, and I think that is the theme of this year's awards. It's really focusing on the love and the authenticity, and so we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. So we move on to our Veteran-Owned Business of the Year, which recognizes a small business that has attained outstanding business achievement in the community. Runner-up, East Hill Pizza and S&K Boutique, and the winner in this category is EBI Management Group. And I think we have Mark I'm gonna have trouble with that. Corley, you can tell me, Mark. There he is. Fantastic. Let me tell you a little bit about EBI. You are a professional services company that provides data analytics, financial and IT support to federal government organizations. They hire UWF and PSC graduates as well as veterans to make the Gulf Coast their permanent home, which is fantastic. And they were recently also selected as 2020 Grow Florida Company to Watch. So congratulations, Mark.
Thanks, Rachel. First, I want to congratulate all the award winners. These are some outstanding stories, and you can't help but be motivated wherever you are in life or in business. So congratulate to all the award winners. I want to thank Studer Group Institute, Cox Business, and Ontracon team as well. On behalf of EBI and all of our team members, we thank you for this recognition. We appreciate the stories being shared by our fellow businesses and community leaders. And to say this year has been difficult would be an understatement. But I think as much as anything else, what I'm most proud of is this is a type of year and circumstances that prove what our veterans can do for us as a part of our teams and business, just as a part of our community. Between COVID and Hurricane Sally, I can tell you that the veterans who make up our company, as well as our other team members, they were all about mission delivery and doing whatever it takes to help us overcome these circumstances and the crisis that we're all living right now. I would encourage all of the other business owners that are part of Ontracon and anybody that's logged in listening to this, is there's strength in numbers, and the numbers that we have that are part of our EBI team are certainly buoyed by our veterans, and we are absolutely honored and appreciate them being a part of EBI and a part of our community. So thanks so much, Rachel. And lastly, thank you, Harold. That was very impactful, sharing of information and look into your life, and I appreciate that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And so our next category is Young Entrepreneur of the Year. We are excited about this one because we always like to know that we are keeping our young people in the community and that they are starting businesses here with us. So this is for a young entrepreneur under the age of 30. And they have successfully launched and grown their business. Two amazing runners-up, John Ellis and Kyle Mugee, and the winner in this category is Harold Griffin Jr. of ITL Solutions. There's Harold. It says Morgan, but it is Harold. Harold's not able to join us in person, unfortunately. I think his son is undergoing surgery, so he apologizes for not being here, but he is very thankful for the award. He helped his company steadily increase revenue over the past 5 years and has grown from 4 employees to 75 employees in 4 years. So congratulations to Harold, and we wish you well. Entrepreneur of the Year. This Entrepreneur of the Year has excelled and shown distinction and success in his or her enterprise thanks to creative problem solving and business flair. 2 well-deserving runners-up, Danielle Mullett and Keandre Beasley. And the winner in this category is Blake Foster of Odd Colony Brewing Company. Blake, if you're here and want to come to the stage, please join me. Blake started off as a licensed nursing home administrator for 12 years, and then he started Odd Colony Brewing Company, a little bit of a pivot there, as we're saying these days. But he decided to dedicate 100% of his time to starting the business, put in a heavy investment, and then had a longer build-out time than expected. COVID-19 forced them to pivot to a new business model, but even with these challenges, they managed to keep all of their staff, have no turnover, and actually doubled forecasted revenue in the first year. So congratulations, Blake.
Yeah, wow. Thanks so much. Super humbling to even accept this award amongst so many smart people here. So may have shed a tear when Stefana Godin called me, or maybe not. But yeah, it's been fun. I've been in Pensacola since 1994, and it's my first business to actually start in Pensacola, so it's super special. But yeah, just big thanks to family, friends who helped get this business open. And, to have the same team we started out with during a pandemic is just crazy to me. And so to have 0% turnover during this year is pretty special. So yeah, any advice to anyone starting a business here, just be authentic and kind of tell your own story and make it personal. And, I think people will be receptive. So appreciate it, guys.
Fantastic. Thanks, Blake. We appreciate you. So on to of the year. Businesses can reap rewards by offering outstanding training programs, progression monitoring, and continuous career prospects. Employers recognized in this award category inspire and motivate their staff by enabling career expansion, operating equal opportunity schemes, and in understanding the importance of work-life balance. 2 really great runners-up, Northeastern Technical College and Fishbein Orthodontics. Congratulations. And joint winners in this category, the tremendous Stevenson Klotz and Vivid Bridge Studios. So we've heard from Eric and his team who are watching. Congratulations to you. And Vivid Bridge Studios, who are tremendous who help us, and they switched to a monthly recurring revenue stream, partnered with digital event providers, and they managed to keep everybody fully employed, and including giving nearly $60,000 to local contractors. So the shifts have not only provided fruitful, but given each member of the team more runway for personal growth and professional growth. Congratulations to you both. And we've got Cheryl on for Vivid.
Thank you guys so much. Just as Miss Louise mentioned that every person can do something to help one another, Mr. Dawson mentioned that one of the most important things we can do is invest in ourselves as human beings. And we all matter. Here at Vivid Bridge, our vision is to become a community connection pioneer, because we are all fully committed to the belief that we are all better together. So from all of us at Vivid Bridge, thank you so much for this recognition and honor. And thank you so much for SEI and Cox for investing in Pensacola business owners and your continued reach across the country. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you to everybody. I hope I got the echo to go away by turning the sound off the big screen. But we have the best legal team in Pensacola. We've got our staff here in the room, and I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of Our team, my law partner, Chris Klotz, is actually working right now on a COVID-related issue related to the core system. So we're just very happy to be able to help the community, and we're grateful for our team and for Ontracon. Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys. Amazing partners and well-deserved awards. And with that, I am going to turn it over and have the distinct honor of inviting Studer Community Institute's founder and the vision behind Ontracon and the Ontracon Awards, Quint Studer, to the stage, who has some very special and new awards this year to give out. So thank you, Quint, for joining us.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here, and thank you for all to our recipients. Well-deserved, hard work. I think the reason Rishi and I have always had such empathy for small businesses is that's what we were and that's what we are. You know, we started Studer Group with 3 employees, and today, of course, we have a lot of small businesses, and I'm just in awe of what you've been able to accomplish. And the reason Studer Community Institute even was developed was to provide small businesses with the type of training that large businesses get that we have to compete with. So shop local. And I hope to do that not only in Pensacola, but in these other great communities I'm going to talk about. You know, our goal is to look at Nicole Bodie's always telling me to fix my hair, so I got to do this real quick. Anyway, you know, with what we want to do is, of course, make Pensacola and Escambia County and Santa Rosa a great place. But we want to do more than that. We want to make America a great place. And one of the things we've really tried to do is provide support to other small communities, mid-market communities in the area. But we also are learning from them, and particularly Oakley Ryan, who's on our Vibrant Community Partner team, which is sort of a offshoot of Studer Community Institute. Nicole Webb Bodie and Barbara Scott Payne and I have really spent the last year traveling to an awful lot of cities, or doing it through my book, doing workshops. There's book clubs that go on that I call into, and it's been really, really exciting to follow them. So out of the 19,000 cities in the United States of America, we have selected some what we consider really set an example on resiliency. So I'm here to talk about them because we're all in this together. So these are organizations that really demonstrate innovation. They're communities that have to be located somewhere in the United States of America. And we just love some of the work that they've been doing. So if Mike Throna will join me on stage, if his children will let him, he's been cooking and cleaning and all sorts of things. And don't be surprised if his daughter is on the stage with him if she does come. Chillicothe, Ohio. I love being in Chillicothe, Ohio. I call it, they have a park there that reminds me of Manhattan and Central Park. They've got all these good things going, but like any small city, they have some gaps between them. We all do. But what they've done is created a community response team. And I know we're used to like response teams like a hurricane response team or a government response team. They really brought everyone together under the Chamber of Commerce, so they had a unified approach to what they're doing. So it's a perfect model for how stakeholders in a community can collaborate and generate big results. And Mike's been talking quite a bit in Chillicothe because I follow him on social media, and he's really done a great job breaking down the silos because chambers are reinventing themselves as we go on. So Mike, congratulations to you and everyone in Chillicothe, Ohio.
Thanks, Quint. It's been a great ride. We didn't think back in March when you joined us that we'd be in this situation, but certainly we've tried to roll with the punches as best as possible. I really owe a lot to our mayor, Luke Feeney, and our prior mayor, Jack Everson, who really sort of helped get this whole vibrancy initiative started years ago, and then our task force, which has done such a great job of really pulling everything together. Folks from the library, United Way, every facet of our community has really pulled together to try to help lead the way for everybody as we move forward. So thanks for your recognition. We really appreciate it.
Where's that little princess? Where is she?
Well, she's there's a different one, and the dog is here too. Come here, Lucy. Come here. Everybody wants to say hi.
You get to know his whole family. Let me tell you, when you get to Chillicothe, Ohio, you get to know his whole family, and I was lucky enough to be there. Thank you very much, Mike. Congratulations to everybody in Chillicothe, Ohio.
Thank you.
Thanks. Our next is Columbia, Mississippi. And, it's a big night tonight. The Chicago Bears, for those of you that might be Bear fans, are on Monday Night Football. And for those of you that follow the Bears, probably one of the most famous Bears that ever lived was born in Columbia, Mississippi, and that is Walter Payton. We're lucky enough to go there and work with them. And one of the really neat things is sometimes you do something and it works and it shows people it can be done. And a couple of years ago in 2018, a family in Columbia, Mississippi is a very small town. Its downtown has a woman's prison, which makes it a little bit of a bigger challenge than most. Like many places, there weren't a lot of downtown businesses. So a local business family came in and there he is, and he basically put some private money into this and he decorated the town for Christmas. And all of a sudden, people that hadn't been downtown in years started showing up. It reminds me of Field of Dreams, but for Christmas. Lights would come on. They'd wait for the lights to go on. And what they've done now is they took the downtown holiday celebration and complete with Christmas decor, light show, music, and fireworks. They grew into a series of nightly events. This is a town of probably less than a few thousand that has they bring 60,000 visitors into their town. They use this as a stepping stone to blueprint now program. We always talk about it starts with programming. A partnership was formed to become Experience Columbia, resulting in expansion of the city's 4th of July, outdoor art event, and more. The way these downtown events unfolded and grew demonstrates perfectly how programming draws people downtown. This is important because it gives entrepreneurs fertile ground for their business. Holidays are a great opportunity to do these things to get people downtown. And they started small, but they've lighted a tree, pop-up crafts, hot chocolate, Santa Claus, the more people than you think. So Christian Ogolia, Christian, how do you pronounce your last name so I get it right?
Agolia.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Tell people about what you did because it's just a great story.
The best part of the story is the community. We a lot of great people in our community, and it's just a coming together of a few businesses and community leaders and people with talent to pull together an amazing event. It is downtown Disney in Columbia. Last year we're pretty sure we had about 250,000 people, and this year it's a big guess, but I anticipate maybe 1 million people coming to the town because it just took off. It started with some decorations and then a little bit of technology and some talent, carpentry, electricians, all from the community. Kind of pulling it all together, some capital support of our city mayor. The town helped out financially, which was a big stretch for a very, very small town with a limited budget. But the vision was there, and the people are there, and the talent is there. So you bring it all together, and for a small town, Mississippi, that is struggling, that type of turnout and that type of results is, I'd say, outstanding for a group of people that came together to put that together.
And that was because, Drew read my book years ago, one of your attorneys, and contacted me. What I loved about being at your chamber event, if you remember, first of all, you're not from Columbia, Mississippi.
No, I'm not.
They're glad you're there, though. They didn't call you a name that, you're coming to our town. They're so dang glad you're there. Every time I mentioned your name and your wife's name, people started clapping at the Chamber of Commerce. And remember, one of the things I said is, we want to get Columbia, Mississippi. So instead of telling people, come to Columbia because you're close to Hattiesburg or close to some other town, we want those towns to say, we're lucky because we're close to Columbia, Mississippi. And you know what? You've just pulled that off. So congratulations. And you have such a great community. That's what I love about all your communities. Harold Dawson talked about love, but all these communities that we get to see, truly the people love their community. So congratulations to Columbia, Mississippi. You got all sorts of nice chat congratulations happening too. Thank you so much. Well, now we go to Elkins, West Virginia. In Elkins, West Virginia, wow, this was like all around COVID. Me and Nicole and Barbara Scott, we were in Washington, D.C., and then we popped over to Elkins, West Virginia. Then we went to Chillicothe, Ohio. Elkins is a beautiful community, and they have a nice college there. Lisa even knows the college pretty darn well because her husband's the president of it. And it's just a great community. It's got a train. They do some wonderful things. And what they did is they bought a ton of my books and they handed them out. And everybody had to read my book. And even today, if you get the newspaper, somebody writes a column on a chapter on the book, and that's Elkins, West Virginia. And what's really neat about it is it's just a cool town, and they're doing some neat things. And so let me tell you a little bit about it. They found a way to help everyone come together. They've agreed on a common vision, and they have an action plan. It kicked off with the project by starting a book club called Building a Vibrant Community. They discussed the book, created newspaper articles around its ideas. The chamber was able to begin, and that's where Lisa comes in, educating and engaging the community. Why were they chosen? Communities are made up of people who have many differing ideas and opinions. The book club made a complex subject manageable. It helped people start exploring which principles and vibrancy made sense to Elkins, very much for people in Pensacola, like a local Civicon. It gave leaders and citizens common ground and common language for discussing what they need to do. So Lisa, to all my friends in Elkins, West Virginia, congratulations.
Thanks, Quint. I'm assuming you can hear me okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, we love you, Quint. You're just have been inspirational to us, and your the book, it did just take off, and we have over 400 copies circling around Elkins, and we're very inspired by your message in the book, but also Pensacola and what you all have managed to do there. That's pretty neat. I grew up in West Virginia, but I traveled to Florida a lot. My grandparents have lived down there my whole life, and it's been fun coming by and seeing the changes since I was a little girl. So, but we're very happy and honored for this award and recognition, and just want to take everything that you've inspired us.
Let me ask you a question. How's the quilt? Okay. How's the quilt store doing?
The quilt store. Sue was actually at my house for lunch today, so the quilt store is great. All of the businesses in town have been inspired by your message and the book and what it's meant and the transformation that we think is slowly taking place. We've been recognized because of our efforts with building a vibrant community in town. We've also had some other recognitions that have happened, and things that are just, it's kind of, it was the thing that started it all. So we're very grateful, and we're really excited about all the things that are happening. And the books, now we're busy on your next book, trying to get that. That's going to be our next book study. So busy leader. So we're just really excited and happy, and you've been inspirational, and Nicole and everybody that came since you came to our vibrant celebration in March. And then now we're calling what we're doing now a vibrant response. And it's just, I'm happy to be a part of it, and happy to be a part of Ontracon. This is
thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Well, now we're going to move to Hot Springs, Arkansas. And that was a fun trip for Barbara Scott and I. We got to go to the hospital, which I always like stopping in at the hospitals. They chamber team, and they've done a lot of good things. They're downtown. It's one of those good to greats. I mean, they're already pretty darn solid. The challenge is, how do they grow the population, but also get a younger population? Because they're very attracted to an older population, but how do they keep looking and moving that, growing more people, but also growing younger people? There's Cole. So the chamber teamed up with local businesses to create a Will You Be My Neighbor? I love that. I also feel like Mr. Rogers is in Hot Springs, Arkansas right now. To encourage entrepreneurship and engage the citizens in selecting what type of business should go into empty space downtown. They held a contest, built a charity component into the voting process. In the end, the citizens chose a boutique grocery store as the winning idea. Here's why they were chosen. We loved this contest, and it had several great byproducts. It got people engaged in their community, raised money to help people impacted by the pandemic. And also, since people voted for the winning business, they will likely have plenty of foot traffic almost immediately. And you know, Cole, we're not here to talk about it, but the other thing I'm so excited about is the response to your RFP for your piece of property in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and some of the market research you did. Cole is a master. If you're Now, I don't want to recruit you away from Hot Springs. I'll be in trouble with Gary. But the reality is, if you're looking for somebody to come into your town and fill your empty spots, this is the master, the best I've ever seen. So, Cole, who's that with you?
Hey, Quint. Yeah, this is Mara Kuhn. She's our communications manager on staff at the Hot Springs Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, like you said, it seems so easy. We try to figure out what kind of new business to go downtown. Let's have a fun contest to let the public vote on what they wanted. That should be the best business to fill the market. It was just such a fun program to work on. It was at a time right there in April and May when a lot of downtown small businesses were really concerned about the future, and it was a way to kind of lift spirits. So, it was just so much fun. It was a pleasure for us to work on, and a huge thanks to everybody on our team and our end for pulling it off. And thanks to everybody at all the Studer organizations for highlighting our excellence here today.
Well, and you still got so much potential. I still want to get those people from Scape there, because you got that water that could just be just phenomenal. I mean, if you haven't been to Hot Springs, it's just loaded with great qualities.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Well, now let's move on. Now we're going to go south a little bit to Florida. This is already a humming downtown. The Economic Council made a commitment to measurement, because that's always the toughest thing. I'm going to be in Mobile, Alabama tomorrow. I'm the keynote speaker at their chamber event. And of course, I start off with, and I'm Mayor Simpson, who I get along. I love Mobile. Mayor Simpson's going to introduce me, which is fun. And we're going to talk about measurement. But it's hard. It's easy to talk about. And for those of you in Escambia County, we have a dashboard. We have the Quality of Life Survey. So Martin County, this Economic Council made a commitment to measurement. They conducted a Quality of Life Survey, created a community dashboard so that people can clearly see where the most critical issues are. These measurement tools are helping them lay a solid foundation for smart, targeted improvement. Why they were chosen: it's vital to diagnose before treating. Martin County is bringing a level of specificity to help people get focused on what matters most. Again, people in Pensacola, if we hadn't measured kindergarten readiness, I don't think we would have jumped on this, getting the kids ready. So it starts with a good diagnosis. When people understand the why they behind proposed changes, they're more likely to buy in. Measurement helps this. Speeds up decision-making, makes transparency easy, and benchmark can help communities see progress year after year. And the guy that's been pushing this elephant up the hill for many, many years is Ted Astolfi. Instead, man, you've been in this a long, long time, and we loved Oakley, Ryan, and we were in your neck of the woods, and you have so many great committed people. So congratulations, Ted. Would you like to say a few words, please?
Sure. Well, thank you. I'm quite honored to be on the stage with so many fabulous people tonight. It's really, really an honor to be part of that. I'm relegated to outside because my wife is doing a Zoom cooking with one of our restaurants in town that's doing a charitable event to cook together. So I'm in the backyard. But yeah, the Economic Councils, our mission is to ensure that our community is a quality, sustainable community. And we know from having Quint here and his team with Nicole and Oakley and the rest, that what gets measured gets improved. And so it was really key to us to really get those measurements out and create our own community dashboard. And we've actually just finishing up the final touches on it, kind of reordering some things, but that will be published literally this week and out to the public in our community, show those measurement tools. And we're going to track those over time, and we're going to see where we're making progress and see where we're not. The one positive I will say about this whole COVID thing, because Quint and his team was here at the very end of February, just before this virus really hit our country. So we have a bit of a slowdown on this, but we have been advocating for less duplication and more collaboration among organizations in our community. And I will say this about the COVID crisis, is it really pushed that issue and perhaps forced, in many cases, organizations that might not have collaborated quite so much to collaborate even more now. So that's just a positive outcome of what's happened to us all. But thank you very much. We really appreciate the recognition and all the help we've gotten from you, Quint. Thank you. And your team.
You. I'm so used to Zoom calls. I want you to know when all the award winners were winning, I was clapping and clapping because I'm so used to clapping on Zoom calls. So thank you. Congratulations, Martin County. Palatka, Florida. Wow. It was one of the first places I went to. local person from Pensacola had moved there, invited me to come to Palatka, Florida. I got to know Ben and the gang. I've spoke in front of the city and the county. It was just been a great time. You know, what's one thing nice about sometimes when you're in your own community, you miss your bright spots. You just sort of see what's wrong and not what's right. And if you've been to Palatka, got this beautiful St. Johns River. It's got this nice stretch downtown, and it's got these passionate people. So the first step in any endeavor is develop a plan, a team of business leaders. And one of the things we've learned in almost every community we're in, though elected officials can be supportive, it's normally private business people that sort of drive it because they've got the money and they've got unbelievable, of course, commitment to making the community successful because they can combine it. But Palatka is pretty cool because they got some people that do a lot of their work outside the community, but live in the community. In fact, I'm really excited, Kathleen, about the local bank that you're getting. The paper interviews me quite a bit, and your newspaper's been great, which is another great advantage you've had. The first step is develop a plan. A team of business leaders started a process for community feedback, and a contest is what would you like to see, what would you like to have that would make downtown Palatka a place to be? They offered a $1,000 prize to be randomly drawn by participants that received over 300 responses, and the survey became a basis for a strategic plan. And the person in charge of implementing that strategic plan is going to be talking in a second. We liked that Palatka was looking at not just for ideas, but engagement and creativity. They came up with a good way to maximize responses. The ideas were incredibly clever and tied to the community's identity in a far better way than any outside planner could do. There's been great ongoing enthusiasm. So it's Kathleen Holznick. You want to tell us a little bit about Palatka, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Quint. Well, one of your quotes we use quite a bit is transforming a community is more of a marathon than a sprint. In 2020 has definitely tested us. It's kind of, if you've ever run a marathon, it's kind of like hitting the wall. We feel like we're kind of punching through the wall now. Our plan is moving forward. We're actually able to start checking a few more things off. So starting with that survey and getting us a basis to move forward, and using the survey responses, we could gauge where the commitment from the community was by the number of responses, say for a steakhouse, things like that. And we are moving forward. It's slow. We measure our successes in smaller increments, but it's all encouraging. And even this award is encouraging, and it's another piece of positive news to celebrate wins along the way, because you really do, or you just tend to kind of run out of steam a little bit. So we're excited, and we're really thankful for you guys and for the love that you've shown us. I mean, we've really appreciated everything that the Studer Group has done for us. So thank you.
Well, it's been pretty neat too, because one of the things you had, like everybody has, is all these old buildings that nobody's doing much with. And they had some local people come together and invest in getting control of some of these buildings. The other cool thing for Palatka is, it's south of Jacksonville. Actually, the Jacksonville newspaper ran a whole article on when did Palatka become the big thing. And with COVID, we're seeing more and more people move out of bigger cities to smaller cities. So it's been fun to see Palatka, like all our communities, the love they have. Well, now we're going to go to Springfield, Ohio. Springfield, Ohio. My good friend, who's the CEO of a hospital now down in Naples, was in Springfield, and he gave my book to the chamber president there. There he is, Mr. Mike and Horton. And they called me, and I went up to Springfield a few times and just absolutely loved it. Talk about it still all the time. Man, they took one-way streets and started turning them into two-way streets and all sorts of cool stuff. They've got local private investors now investing in training and development. So they've just really went to really on fire on this thing. And their community is so great. When I was walking over from a full day workshop at night, it was snowy and sleety. And I walked into the city hall and I thought no one's going to be there. And the place was mobbed. And the mayor looked at me and said, the last time we had this many people is when they thought we were putting a roundabout in downtown. So it was great to be with you. They're laser focused on training and development. By addressing specific training needs, they've attracted funding from the community sponsors. Their goal is to keep current businesses strong. My good friend Nick, become a talent hotspot, attract outside investment, and promote entrepreneurship. Their plan resonates with one of our bedrock principles: talent follows investment, investment follows place. When a community is a great place to live, people will want to move there. When this happens, new companies will follow, which in turn attracts more talent. This is how you grow vibrant communities organically. So we got Mike, who's, if you don't know this, one of the most respected chamber leaders in the whole entire world, and a big fan. Bubba Watson's a big fan of Mike in his golf game. And then we got Horton Hobbs. So congratulations, Springfield.
Well, Quint, thank you so much for this award. We can't say thank you enough to you and your team, to Dottie and all the rest for all you've done to help us get to where we are today and really help set us on a path to where we're going. And that is becoming a vibrant community again. As you know, many communities like Springfield were towns that at one time were on top. And then post-industrial revolution, we found ourselves at the bottom. And so we had to reinvent ourselves. We had to figure some things out as a community that's located, quite frankly, in one of the best locations anywhere in the U.S. along an interstate corridor. And so you helped us do that by your book, by coming to Springfield, by sharing, being generous with both of us and our community. And we can't say thank you enough for this award.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. We simply wouldn't have the programs we have without you, Quint. You and your team have inspired us all. And, you know, I think the best tribute we can do is to make good on the work that you've done and the encouragement you've given us. And our community is a better place because of the Studer Institute and your entire team. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Well, now we got one more winner, and then we're going to do our big announcement, which is our Lifetime Achievement Award for mentoring. Stillwater, Oklahoma. Love Stillwater, Oklahoma. Oklahoma State University. They created a Stillwater Day of Gratitude to get people focused on what's great about the city. They asked people to come world-class noticers. There's Jonathan. And this is the guy that led the deal. This is the guy. I mean, I remember, Jonathan, you went on, I think you went on social media and wrote something about my book or something. And I think we picked up the phone and we started talking. And it was so neat of what you were sort of the fire plug, I think, that got this thing sort of going. And many people have joined. You have such a great hospital up there too. So they started asking people to notice what's good instead of what's wrong. Quietly go about their work to make Stillwater better. By harnessing the power of gratitude, they hope they kept the bright spots shining, create a happier, healthier, more positive Stillwater. Why were they chosen? We believe vibrancy always starts with what's the right mindset. It's easy to talk about what's wrong in a town and overlook the bright spots, but we live it up to our own or down to our own expectations. By focusing on the positives, we can shift the culture and create a stronger, happier, more connected community. And I know as I enjoyed pumping on to your social media about the great things about Stillwater. So we got Jonathan Yodoka and Mary McGowan. So congratulations, Stillwater, Oklahoma. Would you like to say a few things?
Yeah, thanks so much for the recognition. It's really been, I think, like everyone's shared, a crazy year. We started out with you coming to town in January. Hard to believe that it's been that long, but really clicking along. A lot of people engaged in this process. But as you mentioned, we just thought it was so important to focus on the bright spots and focus on what's going right, and just encourage people to say thank you with a simple act of gratitude. And it was cool to see that idea multiply, and people did some really cool things that we were able to share. And so building on that momentum and just keeping people engaged. Mary, who's joining us on stage, runs our book club, where we're going through the Vibrant Community book, some of us again or for a third time. And so we're just really excited to continue building on this momentum and see what we can do.
Well, thank you. Mary, I love reading I'm on your mailing list, so I get to read about your book club all the time. And why don't you tell a little bit about what you've been up to in the community?
Well, Quint, we started, we kicked off the year with you coming to town, and everyone was so motivated, and then COVID hit. And so we thought, well, how can we keep that motivation going until we can be boots on the ground together in person again? And so we decided that a virtual book club was the best way to keep the conversation going. And so we meet bi-weekly on Zoom, and we get together, and the Gratefully Silly movement came out of that book club, and people just so enjoy talking about the book and seeing how we can implement those ideas into the community.
Well, thank you so much. Love what you're doing. Thank you. Give my best to everyone in Stillwater. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Well, now we're going to go to the final, and we're actually pretty good on time. Last year, we kicked off mentorship. As you know, Student Community Institute, we do our Accelerate roundtables. We have over 100 people involved in roundtables. And we also have a program that we kicked off with MIT for more mentorship. And when you look at mentorship, we've come a long, long way, but there's a person I would tell you that's been a mentor from day one. I met him in 1996. I came to Pensacola. It was the Baptist Healthcare Board Retreat. We were in Clear Point, Alabama, and I met this gentleman. We knew each other from him being on the healthcare board, but not all that well. But then we got to know each other. And when I started Studer Group, he came in as a consultant, and every month he would sit in on all our financial meetings. He still does that. So if you look at from 2000 to 2020 with the Wahoos, with every single entity we have, Mort is our sort of financial guardian angel, sort of watching us, telling us what should be going on. Over the years, I can't tell you how many people that I've sent to Mort. They ask me a question, I say, call Mort. I can tell you how many people that I haven't sent to Mort, but have found Mort on their own. And he is like the mentor's mentor. And when you look at pebbles in the pond and people that have made a tremendous positive impact in our community, from just not only mentoring, but Community Maritime Park, Mort did all the heavy lifting on Community Maritime Park. Not me, it was Mort O'Sullivan that did much of the heavy lifting, and that's been pretty successful. So when it came to honor a Mentor of the Year award for us this year, it really was quite easy. Not that there weren't a lot of people deserving, but when you look like a lifelong achievement, he is really the Cal Ripken Jr. of mentorship. Every day, every time he's out there. So congratulations, Mort. You are our Mentor of the Year award for Ontracon and for our community. So congratulations.
Quint, thank you so much. You feel guilty getting an award for something you love to do. It should be harder, but I've just always loved the mentoring part. I'd like to start by congratulating all the award winners and to tell you it is really exciting to see all the talent that came across the screen this afternoon. And Quint, all of us in Northwest Florida feel like we're part of the Studer family just because of how open you are. But watching you exhibit all these communities around the country, we realize we're part of the Studer world, and it's really good what you've done. I want to urge everybody who's listening that we all have a chance to mentor. You don't recognize what you've accumulated in your head and what you can do to help people. And if you'll just make the effort to try and help those that you see need help, you would not believe the difference you would make. And to all of those mentees, as we call them, make sure you're asking for mentorship because it's out there. And all of this community in Pensacola is built on people helping each other. And just ask for it and it'll be there for you. Quint, thank you again for this. I'm not sure you shouldn't call this the Old Goat Award, but I really appreciate it. And it's great to have been step by step with you for all these years. And I thank you for all you've done.
Thank you, Mort. Love you, buddy.
Love you.
Well,
buddy.
That's it. I want to thank you. I'm going to turn it over now to Rachel and David to wrap it up. Couple things real quick. Tomorrow with we have Mike Harbor coming in, and he's all ready. I talked to him today. I think he's tomorrow night, isn't he, at the Clark Partington event?
Yeah, he sure is. Mike Harbor is going to be the
Ontracon's
keynote
going to be
speaker.
tremendous. So, David, thank you to Cox. You know we love you. You're a big sponsor of the Wahoos too. So thank you very much. And you're a big sponsor to everybody in our community. And a lot of our communities in Southeast United States are also a member of the Cox family. So thank you very much. Mort, thank you. Rachel, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. I'm very excited about this week.
Good night.
Thank you, Mort, and thank you, Quint, so much. And David, thank you so much for joining us on stage. Mort, if you want to turn off your camera and microphone down at the bottom. Perfect. And yeah, there we go. Good deal. Gosh, David, I think you'll agree with me. It's been an incredible night. We didn't know when we talked about this back over the summer exactly how we were going to pull it off. And I want to tell everybody who is still with us on the call that we went to Cox and sat down with them and said, you know, you agreed to be the sponsor of this and help us when we knew we were going to be live and we're going to be virtual. And we said to Cox that we didn't quite know how we were going to pull it off, but we kind of put it out there. And as everybody said, dream big and believe big that we could do it. And with your help and with the help and support of Cox Business, David, I think we've really done what we set out to achieve, which is to recognize the amazing hard work and incredible business owners and leaders out here in communities across the country, not just here in Pensacola, which is what's been really special about tonight as well. So just a huge thank you to you, David, for your support and allowing us this opportunity to recognize the business owners. Thank you so much.
Thank you for allowing us to be a part of it. And congratulations again to all the winners tonight. And thanks to our guest speaker for just the inspiration and motivation. What a way to kick off Ontracon 2020, to have that kind of really great guidance on how to be a better human being and not just focus on the human doing that we're doing every day. I love that message. It's something we can take with us into the week. And again, I think I'm thrilled with this new platform. I think it's going to work out really well. I'm looking forward to a fantastic rest of the week. And I know you might have seen a message that popped up on your screen that's going to end in 2 minutes. Never fear. I think the platform's actually going to stay open for another 30 minutes or so. Is that right, Rachel?
That's absolutely right. Yeah, we're having such a great time that we've extended our evening. So stick around. We've got some award winners to announce. Stefano, do you maybe want to come up on screen? For the people who have stayed on this call, we are going to announce 2 award winners for tickets to Ontracon next year, 2021. So we love to give out awards, and we're going to give out a couple more. And then if everybody will stick around, we're going to do some more fun networking tonight. Cox Business is here at various of the lounges. When we go back into that view, go and talk to them and see how they can help you with solutions for you, your business, your home, and they'll be glad to help you. But Stefano, do we have you, and can you help us announce who the winners are of those 2 tickets who are still on our platform tonight? There she is.
Hey, sorry about that. Yeah. Am I not on?
Nope. Yes, you're on.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so I just did a random drawing of all the names that are still on with us, and I have Molly Stanford and Rebecca McKeithen.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Phenomenal. So stay around. Let's talk. Join us tomorrow night at the Clark Partington networking event, where we're going to be using the same platform and having a ton of fun, hearing from Mike Harbour and doing even more giveaways, coaching from Mike Harbour, coaching from Quint, more Ontracon tickets. So we'll see you tomorrow night, but stick around and let's have some more fun networking and enjoying each other's company tonight. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Cox Business, and thanks, David.
Thank you. Congratulations, everyone.